A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep, sticking its home. I need a crib
Like I'm Gatsby.
I
Need
in
it.
hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit. Never been a threat.
Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum. I'm your host, Nick Dais. At Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. Veterans Minimum is at Veterans Minimum. Shout out to everyone that checked out the NFL preview show. We are putting up monster numbers, getting a lot of good feedback. As you know, that kind of sets the tone. Josh, to my right, Josh Williams, host of American Fan 365. He was on the preview show talking bullshit.
Oh my, like,
Talking a lot of bullshit. Washington
Jeez.
division, Washington top seed, all this chaos.
well, I didn't say top. Did I say top seed?
Nah, but you got him in the conference championship game, so
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, bro.
I know, it's crazy. It's
was
crazy.
wild.
About as crazy as Detroit going 12 and, wait, no, you guys had Detroit going 13-4?
No. I don't know who else did. I think George might have.
George had the Saints going 13-4.
So did I.
Yeah, you're both on crack.
Yeah.
I stand by the crack is whack statement, and I'm not going to move off of that. I apologize.
Before we get started on this episode, we got a lot to cover, Josh.
We
But
do.
got a shout out to one of our sponsors, Fly Me Out. Fly Me Out scouts and curates trips to some of the world's most exciting locations. Those who join only need to purchase their slot. They take care of everything else. Listeners, do you ever feel the urge to break away and discover the world with a like-minded tribe? Let me introduce you to Fly Me Out, the premier social travel club. Imagine if LinkedIn, Airbnb, and Raya had a travel-loving baby. Whether you're looking to network with professionals on a beach or bond with creatives in the heart of a city, Fly Me Out got you covered. Dive into curated experiences with their platform. It's never been easy to find a tribe like this one and see the globe. Don't just travel, make memories with Fly Me Out. Use code VM1 for expedited application review. And that, my friends, is how you make $150.
Yeah, hey, listen. We're trying to get flued out. That's what it's about.
Trying to
We're
get flued out,
trying to
right?
get flued out. And I am proud of you, sir.
Four.
That's a good read.
That was a good.
Did you make the read?
I did not make the read. No.
Okay. They sent you the read.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the boilerplate. All right, I was about to say if you did that, because I got to make the reads. Like usually they like just do what you want. I'm like, all right, give me something to work with. So no, that's still pretty good. Good job.
Nah, man. I just have I have an unbelievable ability to lock in. I can't read tweets and text messages, bro. But when I get an ad read and I get money coming in, that's
Listen,
one take.
We're gonna smash this.
One take, baby.
1000%. But I saw some things online, and we gotta talk. We gotta stop the cap. We gotta talk about this.
Uh-oh.
What happened with you're a black belt now, apparently. That's how we feel it.
Hey, man,
black
listen,
belts.
listen.
And you had me. I'll say that.
I bend the truth. I never lie. I do train.
Yeah, all the time.
I do train.
Yeah.
I got it in this morning. Look, over the weekend, my buddy Steven was in town. Shouts to Steven. He came with his girl. They were visiting. We went out to dinner. We were hanging out a little bit and went out to this bar, met a couple girls, and I don't know how the conversation started, but they're like, oh, what do you do? I was like, oh, I do a podcast, yada, yada. What do you talk about? Sports betting, all this. I was like, oh, I also fight. My friend just looks at me immediately and goes, oh, man. I was like, yeah, I fight. I was like, I wrestled in high school. I got my black belt relatively quickly. I got a fight coming up at MSG in November. It's my hometown because I told her from New York. And bro, she bought it because I just have unbelievable charisma. So the way I sold it, bro,
Charisma.
dude, the way I sold it, is that a cap? Come on. You told me in the past too, I got mad charisma.
Hey,
And
listen.
she just bought the whole thing. And look, man, every now and then you got to just bend the truth, but don't lie. Am I shitty for that?
I mean, listen. Okay, all right. So you want to hear mine? All right, because you asked me. You're like, all right. I mean, so give me your for instance.
Before we do,
Yeah, we do have to make an introduction.
I wanna introduce someone that's in the studio with us, and she's a homie of ours, fan of the show. My girl Bree Hunter. Bree is a comedian, UFC fan, and I'm not gonna say it because of the political climate that we're in. But you once famously on your Instagram bio compared yourself to Joe Rogan in one way.
I say I'm Joe Rogan, but with a better rack. A slightly better rack, actually.
Slightly
better rack.
Not better,
yes.
but just slightly. Just it's a photo finish.
Correct.
Okay, fair enough.
Or I sometimes say like bottom of the barrel, hot chick, like low budget glamour model. That's kind of my last.
Oh, you're definitely from Jersey. The self-deprecation is strong. Is strong with this one, Nick.
Hey, am I shitty? Let me ask. We have a woman in the building.
Yeah, you can actually catch.
Am I a piece of shit for what I did over the weekend?
I feel like if you were seriously trying to date someone, maybe a little bit because you're starting out dishonest. But if you're just trying to hook up, I feel like because what's the inverse though? Is that she only hooked up with you because you're a black belt? Like I don't know that.
And there's a fight at MSG apparently. So this guy has money.
There is a fight in MSG. I will not be fighting in it, but hey man, we gotta do what we gotta do.
It's in November.
Are you going to see her again, or was this like a one and done?
Nah, we didn't even exchange any
I was about to say, did you even like close?
Seal the deal? Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, jeez. All right.
It was more so like a extended bit than anything. Just messing around.
Brushing up on your improv, basically. Yeah. Okay.
But am I shitty for that?
I mean, mine I closed.
But do you think this girl went back to like her friends and she was like, yo, I met this dude. He's a fighter.
Oh. For sure.
Black belt.
You're a Vegas story for sure. I met a black belt in Vegas. And it was a complete fallacy.
And it's this idiot. Right?
Well, at least you weren't an NBA player. That's my lie.
Yo, look, I've told people that I was a kicker.
Oh, okay. So the lies continue.
Bro.
I was gonna say, wait, so this is not a first time offense for you. You've been perfecting this. Okay, so
dude, bend the truth, but don't lie. Like I'll say like, cause I did kick in college. So like, I'm not exactly fully lying, but like where I ended up kicking at, I did.
Oh, okay. So I guess for me that it's a bend of the truth.
Yo, listen, man, your bullshit is my bullshit if you're my friend.
Hey, listen.
And we're not hurting nobody. We're just having a good time. And if it gets to a point where I got to be like, yo, look, I was lying this whole time, then we deal with the consequences then.
Yeah. As a man, you do have to.
I'm getting a head nod. I'm sensing sarcasm.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I would feel like after. It depends on how good in bed you are. Because I feel like if I go out with you, you lie to me, but then we have a great time and you're like, oh, by the way, I'm not a kicker. But I'm like, oh, you're great in bed. I'm like, I could forgive it. But if you suck, or you're mediocre, then I'm gonna be pissed, right? Isn't that the barometer? Yeah.
Then you're like, he's definitely a kicker. Then.
Okay, all right. You want to hear mine? All right, so my lie. This happened in numerous All-Star weekends, and this was like early 2000s into the beginning of the 2010s.
Can you tell people again how you end up there and who like your brother is? Name drop, bro.
I don't like to.
I love to name. I'm a big name drop.
You're from New York. That's why.
Whoa. Okay. Fair enough.
Well, all right. So my brother Jerome played in the NBA for nine seasons. I used to go to basically almost every NBA All-Star weekend, whether I was working or was just with him. Sat courtside a couple times All-Star weekend, yada, yada, yada. So my lie at these parties, because, NBA All-Star Weekend is like everyone comes out.
Oh, yeah.
So the lie was that I played on the Clippers, because remember, the Clippers were trash. Like this is the Donald Sterling Clippers of like early 2000s. They had their, herpes flare up with Lamar Odom and the guys, but like overall, a random girl is not going to be like, oh, I'm a Clipper fan. Never existed. That never existed. So my name was Keith Richardson. I played on the Clippers. I was a guard. And we come on TV every, like 3 times a week. Like what you eat. And so, okay. And remember too, this is All-Star Weekend. So I got on like my big NBA suit. Like you remember the
early
big
2000s.
These are early 2000s suits. So I had like suits. And so I blend in. And then, I'm dapping up all the players because the players know me. So.
You looking like a somebody.
Yeah. Real quick. Yeah, it definitely, it worked a few times.
Damn, bro. Dude,
a few times?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so this is like, you're another one. You're like perfecting. Like this is like your alter ego, so to speak.
Well, so Keith Richardson was a cross between Keith Kloss, who played on the Clippers, and Pooh Richardson, who played on the Clippers. So that was, yeah. If you own the Clippers, you'd be like, oh, there is a Keith. Maybe I misheard. Or, oh, there is a Richardson. It worked like
Damn.
Yeah.
Yours is way better though, I feel like.
I mean, that was the, if we're going to talk about lying, but like, I don't lie. Like that's usually, I mean, I lied about my age when I was younger to get like older girls.
Yeah.
Never I was saying I was a black belt because that's like, so, but see, you can fight. See, I can't fight. So if a fight broke out, you'd at least be able to protect. If a fight broke out,
I could fight.
chick, you better run. Like, what are we doing? Like, did you cause the fight? Did the girl cause the fight? Because if she caused the fight, I'm out. I'm sorry. Good luck.
Bro,
You chose this path, not me.
dude, that's one of my worst nightmares of like dating someone and they're the ones that started an altercation.
Oh my God.
And you have to like chime in and like, you know, like you don't want to be that guy that like doesn't, you know what I mean?
Well-
like respectfully, right? Like you want to stand
You're
up for
saying
your
like in
woman.
other words, if she's not good at the matchup, like if she picks a dude who like is
Why are you picking this fight?
It's
like,
not
Right,
even-
yeah.
pick a good, like,
Nah, but
like be a good matchmaker if you're
Yeah.
gonna set the fight.
Dude, there was one time many years ago where I was so into this girl and I was like, damn, I might like Greek chick. My parents loved her. Like,
Okay.
but dude, every time we went out, it was always an altercation.
Yeah.
And bro, I avoid conflict.
Like the plague.
Like, yeah, at all. Yo, you're a bitch. No problem, man. You can have what, like, it doesn't, there's not a lot of shit that gets me mad. Like, if you have, off the top of my head, like, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about, like, what angers me, truthfully, bro, and I'm not even trying to be funny, if you have, like, an Instagram for your pet, like, that gets me mad.
That and
That's an
horoscopes.
ick.
Horoscopes.
the
also.
kids would say it's an ick.
yeah. And
Horoscopes for you.
horoscopes.
Yeah. I know about the horoscopes.
The horoscopes is crazy to me, but that's
Yeah, I know. See, you gotta
You're into
understand.
horoscopes?
You knew this. You speaking of like, I don't want to start a fight. You started in with me because I posted one thing about my sign. You're like, I hope you don't believe in this shit. So you're
Yeah.
saying you don't start fights, but clearly there are a few hot button issues with you.
See?
Listen, man, if you make life-altering decisions because the moon and the planets are aligning in a certain way and because you're a Pisces, I think you're a fucking idiot.
Well, I think if you go out and tell people you're a black belt so you can try to get laid, I think you're a fucking idiot. I feel like that's fair.
That's a 10-8.
Are we not on par?
That's a 10-8. That's a 10-8. That's a 10-8. Yeah. You know what? Listen, man, you're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right. So I got 10-8'd on my own show.
My ex tried to get me to fight Paul Pierce in the club.
Oh God.
Yeah, that happened. So yeah.
I told you about Paul Pierce when he was in the studio.
Oh
here.
yeah, you did.
And,
Me and Paul had already had beef anyway, just because.
Nah, but it was
We
super
were never
friendly, bro.
friends.
Because so like, when I played basketball and like when I play basketball, and you know how like you bullshit with your friends, you're like, yo, who do you play like? Who are you like?
I'm the truth.
I would tell people, I was like, yo, I play like Paul Pierce. I play really slow, methodical, like same speed throughout. So when he came here for Cam and Mace's show, It Is What It Is, I was miking him up and I went over and I was like, yo, you used to kill us because, you know, he was a Nick killer when he played with the Celtics. He's like, yeah, I love playing in MSG. And then I was like, yo, bro, when I play basketball, I tell people I play like you. And he just looked at me like this. Nah. And he just bodied me hard. I was like, damn, bro, you just violated me.
This is why I almost got in a fight with him. But anyway.
Speaking of fighting, one of the reasons why I got Bree on the show, because Bree is a massive UFC fan, and there's a UFC pay-per-view this weekend. We got Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Down under.
Yeah.
It's for the middleweight title. Bree, my question to you, and a little backstory. I don't know if I told you this. I know you know this. He's my favorite fighter right now in the UFC.
He is.
Israel
Okay.
Adesanya. My question to you is, why are we having this fight?
I know they wanted to do a pay-per-view in Australia. They needed a big name. Izzy was like a good pick. Well, he's New Zealand, I believe, correct?
Yeah, which is right there.
Right. Fair. It's
Close enough, yeah.
It works.
It's like Staten Island, New York. It's like not the same. We know it's not the same, but it's close enough.
Oh my God.
Oh no. I did not mean to go on a tangent. I didn't know. Here we go.
What? Staten Island, New York. It's not the same,
That
but it kind of is.
no, I'm not having that.
You're not.
Oh.
It's a borough.
You know how I said not a lot of things make me angry?
That makes you angry?
Yeah.
Wait, are you from Staten Island?
No.
You're from
Are you
Queens.
kidding? Look at my shirt,
from
You
bro.
Queens.
don't even have a dog in the fight, and then meanwhile you're like upset.
Staten Island sucks. It's not really a borough.
It's a borough.
Well, maybe Australia feels the same way about New Zealand. I don't know. I'm not saying that, but maybe
The
they
only
do.
thing cool about Staten Island is the Wu-Tang Clan.
Hey, and that you win. That immediately gives you a seat at the table. So you back that out. You just back up.
Damn,
that's like
yo.
saying
You guys are right.
Harlem or Yonkers or boroughs. It's the same thing. Harlem claims to be a borough, but they're Manhattan.
Yeah. Yeah, but
They like,
Staten
no, we
Island
Harlem.
is
I go by the
actually-
5 families. Like those are the
mafioso
that's-
stuff.
Yeah, I feel like for the 5, that's if you didn't have a family, then you don't have a.
Okay. I can see it.
Okay.
So going back to that though.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So I feel like they needed a big name for the card. And Izzy was like, I mean, who else was going to fight right now?
Yeah.
And who else is he going to fight with? He's already run through so
He has.
at least with Strickland, I feel like they know he's going to make headlines because of what he says. So if I were the boss and I was like, if this is what I had in front of me to choose from, I mean, let me ask you this. What's the better fight to make if you were in
You bring up a really good point that they needed a title fight because one of the loopholes when they go to these places,
For the numbered cards, it's got to be something.
it got to be for something. That's why they did the BMF for Dustin and Justin.
Where was that? That was in
Salt
Utah.
Lake,
Utah.
right?
That was in
I
Utah.
was
Yeah.
there. Yes,
You
it
went to that.
was.
You were
Yeah.
there.
Traumatizing experience.
What? Wait. So do you go to a lot of fights?
I do. And I'm friendly with some of Dustin's friends and family.
Okay.
Name
So-
drop. I like this.
Yeah.
Well,
Our
I
kind of
mean,
people.
I'm like
Well,
the.
I was in the back like trying to hook her. Like, yeah, girl, I got you. She good. Never mind, man. All right, she let me go through the whole spiel too. It's like, don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I
We gonna
wanted to
get you
see your
there.
act. I mean, you were kind of coming in here talking about like what you would do. So I
Dang.
wanted to let you go and like, but I believed you. I mean, you really sold it. I was like, oh,
hey,
this
it
guy.
wasn't a lie. It was that was all truth.
It felt genuine.
There's no. It was out of love. You know what I mean? You're Knicks people, so you know you gotta help out wherever you can. To answer, yes, this is the fight. He's beat everyone else except for Duplessis. That's it. He's beaten Robert Whitaker multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's beaten Cannonier. He's beaten Vittori. He's beaten Paulo Costa. He's beaten Derek Brunson. I didn't realize DB was number 7. But like, I mean, of everyone in that top realm, he's already fought him. So, I mean, what I will say, Sean Strickland is a great guy, but in the promo pictures, like, you know, the picture when you pass by the UFC, like the picture is on the billboard, Sean Strickland just looked like he's happy to be here. Like his picture, like he's just like he just looks like, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for this check. I'll enjoy Australia and then I'm gonna go home.
I mean, bro, even if you look at the betting lines, he's Izzy's minus 650.
Oh my God.
Strickland is plus 450. And this fight, to me, Bree, it just doesn't, it makes sense from the standpoint
A
of,
showrunner. You're
yeah,
putting on a show.
everybody else is booked, right? Like we know heavyweight is in November. We know 155 is in Abu Dhabi. We know Leon and Colby is going to either be at MSG in November or in December. Topuria and Volk. I mean, Volk just fought, seems like 3 weeks ago. It seems like.
Volk be fighting every 5 minutes, I think.
O'Malley just won the title, so he ain't fighting. 125 happened in July. The only available title was that one. And Izzy being from down there. Izzy also is incredibly active. Oh, this is his 12th fight. Like main event fight. And Habib posted something about Izzy, and he said that he's 1 to 2 title defenses away from entering the John Jones era. If you think about it, like, dude has just dominated the entire division.
Yeah.
And I kind of fuck with that, bro. If you're just that good at that one division, like, why move up?
Well, he can't move up.
He tried, right?
He
so,
tried,
yeah.
but he's physically not, like, he doesn't really gain weight. He's African. You know what I mean? Like his DNA is African. So he doesn't really put on a whole bunch of mass. He's got really small legs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, and then, you know,
He never has a bad weight cut for that reason too. Like
Yeah.
he walks around. I think when he fought Jan at 205, he weighed in at like 196.
Yeah, he came in at like 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jan Blachowicz, those guys are coming down. He had to eat up.
Yeah.
Like that's not his weight. So, you know what I mean? And he wouldn't go down further. So,
Well, that
yeah.
being said, though, I feel like So then, okay, fine. If I can't give like a proper matchup, right? He's run through everybody. What's my next best bet? Put on the most entertaining fight I think I can make. And like with Drickus, I feel like he doesn't have like the Sean Strickland sort of like they knew. I said this to you before. I feel like it's almost like they told Sean, go out and make headlines, like do a bunch of crazy shit, like beef up this fight. And I feel like if they're going to do the other fight, they'll do it in South Africa. That'll be Dana's. If I'm Dana and I'm thinking long term, I think shit, we'll do like they've already had some banter. It touched on some political issues in South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm Dana, I'm thinking that's our South Africa card if we do it. But for this, let's bring in Sean. We know he's going to make waves.
Yeah.
It's an easy sell.
For the record, I'm more African than Drickus is. I never got a chance to say that on my show. We started talking about something else, and I was like, dang it, I had something for that. But yeah, like
also
that was crazy.
Duplessis didn't get this opportunity because he got hurt.
That's right.
So
and he had just fought. Like I feel like he just fought in June, right?
He fought at IFW. He fought on the Bull card.
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen.
It was too quick of a turnaround, and then you factor in that he got hurt.
Yeah.
It just made sense. But Izzy is like so active. Like this dude is fighting all the time. He's fighting whoever.
Yeah. I mean, he's fought everyone.
He's cleaned everyone out.
He avenged his only loss in division.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? He finally ended the conversation with Pereira.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Is what it is.
Oh, actually, wait a minute. I thought I saw this headline. So it says that they would have fought, according to Dana, he did a press conference after Contender Series, and he said that it would have been them, but that Drickus basically turned down the fight in Sydney.
It was probably too soon of a turnaround. That's the only thing it would have to be.
But I mean, you turn around title fights? That ain't smart.
I mean, bro, it's weird, right? Because I feel as if I would always take the fight. Wasn't it you I had the conversation with about the Bo Nickel thing with that dude?
Yes.
Who was the guy that just fought Bo Nickel?
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes, we were talking about that. And he had just fought like 3 times in like a month almost. I forget his name. I know who you're talking about. And he actually fought well in that fight.
I think you're being polite.
Well, I mean, look, listen, to turn around and keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting. I mean,
he fought Val Woodburn.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that fight happened, he took that fight on like 4 or 5 days notice. My thought process is, as I am a professional UFC fighter fighting in November, Josh and Bree, let's not get it twisted. If I have an opportunity to take a fight on short notice and it's against a hype train, it's against this fight gets me to
the next point,
the title, or it is a title fight, I'm going to take it. But if it's a short notice fight because the third fight on the prelim got scratched and now Josh needs an opponent, I'm probably not taking it. But Val Woodburn takes his debut fight on like 4 days, 5 days notice, but it's Bo Nickel to open a pay-per-view, I'm probably taking it.
The one thing I will say
taking it.
Well, the one thing I will say in terms of not taking fights, I know how hard it is for some of my friends to get fights made and that they scratch and claw just to get the fight.
Yeah.
Where it's like, listen, these guys, they don't make the money to just be like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like they've got, like if you have an opportunity to fight again and you're okay, even if you're not okay, if you're okay enough to possibly go win or possibly at least do okay, you got to take the fight. Especially in mixed martial arts. Now, if we're talking boxing, no, not necessarily. But in the UFC, take the fight. It sucks, but it also does get you closer to your next contract.
How do you feel about this take?
I was going to say, let me pose a question to you. Who is like your dream, like to fuck? Like who's like your dream? Like,
whoa,
where did that? Lord.
Well, I have a point, but
okay.
I need answers.
All right.
If you need to marinate for a second, we'll
You
give
need
you
me to
like.
go?
I mean, my favorite woman of all time is Trish Stratus.
All time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like no questions asked.
Trish is nice.
So if you had the
Sorry.
Yeah, between the Staten Island and the Trish slander, I'm gonna need to.
No, I'm saying she's nice. Like I've met her many times. She's a nice person. She's cool.
Who's your person?
I don't know. I was talking today. She was like, you didn't say all time.
Oh, dude. I mean,
all time?
Adriana Lima too.
All time.
Generational talent.
Generation.
That's tough. Holly Berry all time. We're gonna talk all time.
How did I know? I wish I said it because I knew that's what you were gonna say.
Okay, Holly Berry, Megan Good, Drea Michelle.
Oh,
you go either however which way you want to go.
You do look. I'm a little crazy.
I do. It's bad.
Megan,
it's not.
Megan Good came to my coffee truck one time.
That's uncalled for, and that's
and
unfair.
You know what? Who else? She came with Minka Kelly.
Oh,
Minka Kelly was in Friday Night Lights. That was my.
Yeah, Derek Jeter's one time.
Yeah, she made the baseball diamond. The famous baseball diamond, Derek Jeter. You ever seen this thing?
No.
You never seen the baseball diamond? Bro, it's a diamond. It's all the women that he ever dated. And it's like,
oh, she made the baseball diamond. Oh, okay. I never heard of it put in that way. I'm not from New York. I don't know the extra underlayer
it's like
Derek
a
Jeter
culture,
stuff.
like iconic piece. And like,
I mean, I know some of the ones. I listen. He's Derek
Jeter
like
the artwork of the baseball diamond. It's
I
like
thought you meant like the
known.
fact that he hooked up with all these great women.
Oh, I mean that also that goes.
Oh, that's what I thought you were saying.
But Minka Kelly and Megan Good came, and Megan Good used to be in Friday Night Lights.
Megan Good.
No, Minka Kelly. Yeah.
Excuse me. Them two came to the coffee truck, and Minka Kelly, I was like, "Yo, I used to be in love with you." She's like, "Used to?"
Oh,
Hey, listen.
Terrible setup.
No,
I should have lied.
You you recover that fumble. What do you mean? You fumbled and then just sat there and was like, here's your coffee?
I hooked them up with donuts. So
that wasn't
I fed
enough.
them. Class. But where were you going with this?
I was gonna say, if you had the opportunity to fuck your dream woman, and you were, let's say though, it was after like a bender, like you ate like shit, you were drinking, you weren't even sure if you could get it up, you just were like, would you still do it, or would you say, shit, I'm gonna hope that I get this opportunity one more time so I can perform well, or I'm just gonna do it because I might not, and just go for broke and hope something happens, but risk doing poorly on what could be a once in a lifetime shot?
You want to know why you're not going to do poorly?
Give me the segue. How you brought this all the way
there.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Give me the segue. She gave you the segue.
Blue Chew, baby. Shout out to one of the sponsors. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. This episode, we talk about sex, apparently. We've been talking about sex. You know, we went from UFC to now we're talking about sex.
Smashing our dreams.
But the episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, remember the days where you always were ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, bluechew.com. Use the promo code VM. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead. In this scenario, we weren't planning ahead because we got this late call, right? We got to go and perform. Maybe we're not. Blue Chew will help us to live out our dreams and make it to the UFC as the black belt and the fight that I have coming up in November. Blue Chew tablets are made in the U.S. and prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package so you can, not have to tell people they need some PEDs in order to perform. Head on over to Blue Chew and receive $5 off. Only the shipping is what it'll cost you. Blue Chew, free when you use our promo code VM at checkout. Just pay the shipping, $5. That's bluechew.com. Promo code VM to receive your first month free. Blue Chew.
That is when Trish Stratus rolls through, you're good to go. What about you, Ms. Bree? I mean, Bree, it's not the same. It's not the same question. Obviously.
Oh, would I wait, you're saying?
Well, I mean, like.
I would wait.
You'd wait?
I would wait.
Because you're a woman.
I would wait. I would want to give it like my best,
Yeah.
Because I feel like the torture that I would inflict upon myself if I went in like half cocked, no pun intended, but like, well, especially not for me, but you know what I mean? Like if I went in, I wasn't like operating at my prime, like the fallout from that scares me too much. I'd be like, I would rather lose the opportunity personally than like, no, I was going in not at my best.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going up against the best. Like you said before, it's not like he's just taking a fight. It's like it's the, he knows he has to bring like the A game. It's the guy who's running through the division. I wouldn't take that fight on short notice for what's the point?
Yeah.
so you can lose and say, oh, I lost to the greatest of all time.
But I feel as if there's no, it's the Jorge Masvidal thing when he fought Usman the first time. You take that fight on 6 days notice where you're in your private jet in Italy eating pizza and you make that insane. I think he cut 30 pounds.
That's because you have a built-in excuse, and that I have like a very. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
That's very fair because one could look at it the way I am. It's like, I'm going to take this fight, but I got a built-in excuse. But I don't think that's an excuse. I think that's a reason, and I personally think there's a difference between the two. I think there's a difference between reasons and excuses. The same way I think there's a difference between betting and gambling. And with Masvidal, I think that was a built-in reason as to why he took the fight. Because I'm sure Dana probably told him like, yo, I'm gonna take that fight and I'm gonna just, whatever happens. If I win, it's only gonna build my superstardom.
Yeah.
Because this guy's a gangster and he fucking took this fight on 6 days and now he's a champ. But if I lose, it's, well, I took the fight on 6 days.
Yeah.
Well, if Dana guaranteed me a rematch and was like, listen, even if you lose, I'll do you a favor and we'll make it like a rivalry and I'll guarantee you a rematch at some point in the future, then I would do it.
Sure, but those are also tricky if it's not an immediate rematch because what happens
when
if...
does this mean? Like where I'm obviously not entitled to a rematch. So
yeah, like...
if I don't show well...
Yeah, Josh is the champ at our division and I take the fight and I get slept. But I got guaranteed that, later down the road, you'll fight Josh again. If it's not an immediate rematch, what happens if I go and I fight you and I get knocked out again? It's like, well, we can't give him the title shot again.
Can't give him the shot. Yeah.
So to me,
then you're just proving my point, though, where I would be like, oh, well, I don't want to take the fight if I'm not at my best and I don't have the opportunity to be the champ. That's all I'm saying.
So okay, back to the other part. What would not be your best?
It sexually?
Yeah, like what? Like what do we roll it into? Not as the best. Like hair is not good. You're not feeling good about yourself.
A little bloated, maybe. I don't know. Like just like a little.
Okay. All right. There's some spotting.
Dry
possibly.
mouth. I don't. Yeah. Like I just would want to be. I don't know. I like to be like. I'm like, you're gonna hate this. I'm like an Aries, and to me, like sex is a compliment.
Well, no. Listen.
Be the best.
No. Okay. First off, you need to stop that because this is what you're up against.
Horoscopes.
Like ladies. They look, and there's different degrees. As you said,
I can't get behind this at all.
No. But look, listen. There's degrees to it, right? You don't have to, like you said, if someone is mapping out their life, no, should not map out your life. It's like anything else,
right?
But it does give you some inclination just to be like, oh, okay, yeah, you might be predisposed to liking this stuff, or you might be a little bit more hot-blooded. Now that might also be just who you are, but you might have a predisposition to be that way. So when a lady says, oh, I'm this, it's good to at least know what you're up against.
Okay.
When you immediately throw it down and throw down a flight of steps with it, she's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I would want to even deal with all that after. I'd rather just be like, nah, man, I'm good.
I told you, see, I got into it in high school. It was a way to get girls.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
You're missing out on an opportunity.
I'm trying to tell you. You looking at it the wrong way. You got to look at it as
well, listen,
hunting.
man, that's why, look, I do stretch the truth a little bit, but I don't like lying completely. So I'm not going to be there and be like, yeah, you know what? I look at the stars and the planets.
Well, you might want to try if the black belt if the black belt thing didn't work, I'd be willing to give the planet thing a try.
Yeah, but like the black belt thing, sure, it is.
And you could be like, oh, it's just because I'm sensitive. I'm a Pisces. And it'll just be like, I guarantee you, well, we'll have a bet. We'll have a betting show. We'll have a bet. Hook, line, and sinker. I bet you could sell somebody on that.
By telling them that I'm a Pisces.
If you say
you're like
you're
a little
sensitive because you're a
like, oh,
Pisces.
I'm a Pisces. And like try to like make fun of yourself, self-deprecating. I think you could.
Damn,
okay, if you do it that way, yes.
I like this.
But if you come off like, well, I'm sensitive because I'm a Pisces.
No.
That ain't gonna win.
It's got to be like a joke.
Got
but
it.
I feel like that will perform better than the black belt. Like I'm fighting at MSG.
I'm trying to tell you.
Guys, at Veterans Minimum on Twitter, what would work better? The capping that I'm a black belt or selling the idea of me being into horoscopes?
No, being like a sensitive astrology boy, not into horoscopes.
Listen, all I have to do is drop the mic and say I'm a Scorpio and girls immediately have a reaction. Every single time.
Yeah, they hate you, but they know you're good in bed.
See? Or they're like, oh, my ex was a Scorpio, but then they're already immediately spinning it. I ain't even say anything else.
Right.
They just be like, what's your sign? Well, I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah, the bare minimum, it's like conversation starter.
Boom.
You're banking on the fact that the chick even understands what a black belt is.
That's exactly what I'm hoping she doesn't do.
Because somebody's gonna drop in the stance one time and you're gonna be in trouble.
That's what I'm hoping. Somebody's like, yeah, like someone's like a professional and you're going to just be totally fine.
Oh, like the girl's gonna be a black belt?
Yeah,
she's gonna drop
she's
the
like, oh, I
stance. She's
train.
gonna
Where do you
have it.
train at? And you're going to be like, fuck, what do I do now?
Nah, I'm gonna say I train under the Shapiro brothers.
Who did you
That's
study
not-
under?
Yeah. And then I'm gonna call Shane. I'm gonna be like, yo, listen, this girl thinks I'm a black belt. You gotta like tell her. You gotta just come on, bro. My bullshit is your bullshit. Shane, I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna tag you. This is how we do, right? I respect
All hands
the
on
arts.
deck.
I respect the arts. I do. But you know, every now and then we gotta do what we gotta do.
I understand.
Who do you got in this main event and how?
I think Izzy wins. Obviously, I think Izzy wins in 3.
So you think he puts him away?
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, you know, if you really just look at the way he fights, even when they're, you know, the type of fights when I'm trying to think, what was the when he fought Yoel.
Okay.
Even in those types of fights, when the guy's not fighting, he still finds a way to lead the fight. So even, you know, in I think Strickland's best course of action is to take the fight directly at Adesanya. Like, do not sit back and try to wait.
Well, he got to fight the way he fights, which is walking him down.
Yeah, you have to, and you can't be afraid. That's his only that's his only path to winning. And like when we talked about O'Malley, we said the only path for him to win was really knockout.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Well, I think the difference is Strickland can put a pace on him and he could rack up a lot of significant strikes where on the scorecards, he doesn't need to knock out Izzy. I think Strickland, the way he fights, he could win a decision off him. Do you have to beat the champ? Yeah, I hate that. I hate that though, too.
You do. And beat the champ in his home-ish country. It's not looking good. Not looking good at all.
What do you got?
You know, I made the mistake of betting against Izzy last time just because I felt like his mindset, I felt like he was rattled. Pulled it out anyway.
Well, a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah. Like, I felt like I always like to pay attention to when I feel like somebody else gets under a fighter's skin. You know, like I feel like once their cage is rattled, you never know. It's either that or if they're not taking the fight seriously. Those are always like my red flags.
No, I agree with you because to add to that, I hate when a fighter goes into a fight and the talk of retirement
is even like
brought
out
up.
there.
Is even
like,
in there, yeah. Because they shouldn't even be
that.
thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm going to go with Izzy. But I always say every dog has their day in MMA. But it doesn't feel to me, unless he's bluffing, it doesn't feel to me like Sean's really taking it seriously. I feel like he's going out there and he's being entertaining, and he is. He's being wild now, but I don't feel like he's like super hungry. Whereas like when he fought Cannonier, I felt like he just was like, I don't give a fuck about the press conference. Like he was clocked in. And I feel like it showed during the fight. Like even though Izzy won, like he gave him a run for his money. And I feel like that showed.
Yeah.
So I'm not really getting that vibe from Sean, again, unless he's totally bluffing and he's like, I'm going to act like a clown, make him think I'm not taking it seriously, and then come out and be like,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Listen, it's possibly his one and only shot. So, you know, you've got to give it everything you have. There's no reason to come back to Vegas and not be,
I do think
empty tank.
Look, I usually like to ask people like from a 1 to 10, how excited are you for this pay-per-view or this event? I'm at like a 4. And it's only because of Adesanya. Like I don't think this card is that good. You know, like if I don't get invited to someone's crib, I'm probably not watching this. I'll be honest
you're
with
going
you.
to crowdfund it? You're going to crowdfund the paper?
No, I'll probably isn't it airing early too because it's down there?
Yeah.
So like,
No.
yeah.
I think this one's I think this one is finally normal time. It said 7 on Google.
Really?
I
So
think
it's
we're
gonna be
finally
like in the middle of the night their time?
or in the morning, because I think they're almost 12 hours.
Oh.
So it might be, or maybe like late morning for them. Yeah, no, I think
Wow,
this
you're
is
right,
late
yeah.
morning
Main
for
card is
Australia.
Oh, okay. So I stand corrected.
Okay.
Because I love nothing more than staying home on Saturdays. Whenever they have these UFC.
You're not gonna watch? I don't believe you. Would you play like at least like a 20? What's the over under? Like a $20 cover? Was that worth it to you to go see it?
You just watch on your phone.
No, but on my phone, I would have to pay the whole thing for it. We're not doing that. Dana's always listening.
I'll still watch just because I feel like sometimes it's like the cards that you don't expect much from end up being sleeper hits.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And the cards that you're like, oh my God, this is going to be the best ever, wind up being like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's happened so many times.
The last thing I'll say about this, I think Izzy wins by however he wants. But Strickland can make this this could be one of Izzy's best fights. Just because the opponent is going to push it to him.
Yeah.
Like Romero didn't push it to him.
No.
Cannonier didn't push him. You know, Vittori kind of.
Pereira did.
And they were bangers.
And I feel like it could be that style of fight.
Yeah. Like,
if Strickland has a chance, it has to be that style of fight.
He'll go for broke.
Yeah. Like Izzy is, he's my favorite fighter. He's my favorite fighter to watch. I had Eric Nixick on the show, and in 90 seconds, he explained Adesanya's entire like fight style to me. And I was like, bro, I've watched every fight of his in the UFC and some glory shit.
Yeah.
You just explained his entire career better than all the hours that I've spent watching and researching him. But Gastelum pushed it to him. Whitaker in the first fight pushed it to him. These are the kind of fighters, these are the kind of fights where you can see Izzy really be like, holy shit, this guy's the most exciting dude in the UFC.
Yeah.
Because when you're not pushing it to him, he stays back.
He's like, I'll chill.
He scores points, wins decisions, and he's the highest paid guy right now in the UFC.
So you don't want him to be safe. You want him to put on a show.
No, I'm saying Strickland
will force him
to put on a show because of the way he fights.
Yeah.
But I'm someone where, especially being able to train with some UFC fighters or having them come to the gym and you start understanding like the business side of it. Like, I mean, I never booed fighters anyway. Like, oh my God, why aren't they doing anything? Why aren't they going for the knockout? Whatever it might be. Like, yo, just get your win and get your money. Like, however it is. If you want to lay and pray for 3 rounds, like, by all means, go and do that. So if Izzy fights boring fights, but he collects his money, so be it. But I do think Strickland is going to force it out of him to just go out there and be like, yo, it's going to be a dogfight. So it could be one of those things where the main event is such a banger that you'll remember this card and be like, oh shit, this was a dope ass card.
Yeah.
Because it happened with Usman Leon 2, the head kick. That card was trash.
It was. I'm still mad about that.
But we remember it because of the head kick knockout.
God, Usman had that daggone fight in the bag.
So, Bree, I want you to tell people where they can find you on social media before we continue with some NFL talk after this Patreon read. But where can they find you?
I am shadow banned, so you have to type in you can find me, but you have to type in the full name. So it's at Bree Hunter, BRI Hunter, no underscores, nothing, but you have to type in the full thing to get at me. I'm on the. I'm on.
You are out of control.
We've got to. Now I have to understand why you're shadow banned. What happened?
Learning more and more about you.
I mean, I feel like my photos are like Maxim-esque. They're not like bad, but they tend to be a little. They're getting more and more. Yeah, like what's the word I'm looking for?
Provocative?
Strict. Well, no, they're getting, my photos are fun, but they're getting more strict on Instagram. So it's like what was once fine is now.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, well, half these girls about to be shadow banned then.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the truth.
It's hard out there in these streets.
You said you had a clap back at somebody and they didn't like it is what happened.
I think someone's out to get me.
Somebody's out to get me.
Well, I'm hoping now that like Zuckerberg's doing like MMA, maybe I'll run into him at one of the fights and be like, hey, can you give me a break on your platform? You know what I mean? Like parlay that into some type of, can I be on the green list? You know, like I don't want to be blacklisted anymore. So hopefully we'll see.
Patreon roll call. Big ups to the members of the Patreon, patreon.com/veterans minimum. We've gotten 15 new members of the Patreon in the month of August. And up until now, we're at 69 Patreon members. Josh, don't get excited. But because of the number, I know how you are. Big ups to the members of the Patreon. We got Ben Kotzian, Nick Chavez, Christopher Velasquez, Derek Platees, Daniel Gibson, Devin Rendon, Jordan Riley, Mike Stevens, and Rune is back as a member of the Patreon. Thank you all for your contributions to the Patreon. starting this week, we are adding a new thing to the Patreon. Every Friday, there's going to be a audio or a video episode of me and Kenny Bets Big, who will be on the Monday shows. We are going to be doing a video of the 5 picks we're going to be putting into the Circa Millions contest. Kenny and I are going to split an entry and we're going to do the Circa Millions. It's the hardest NFL contest on the planet. We're splitting an entry and we have some announcements in the coming weeks of what we're going to do with whatever money we win. We're going to give some of it back to the members of the Patreon. But there'll be some betting exclusive. It's literally going to be the 5 picks that we put into the contest. So you'll be able to tail it. You'll be able to see it. And then as you're watching this on YouTube, the $20 tier, you get some merch on discount. $40 tier, you get some merch on discount. If you guys pledge for the whole year, you guys get merch as well. So patreon.com/veterans minimum. Josh, NFL.
Yes, sir.
We made it.
We have made it.
It's here.
I've got my Barry Sanders exclusive on today.
I like that.
I felt, obviously I know that you're, we both, well, no, you don't feel like the Lions are going to do it. You didn't feel like the Lions were going to do it last year either.
Nah, they're not a playoff team for me. I'm not buying into the hype. Though, we are recording this prior to the Thursday Night Football game. Kelsey might be out. Chris Jones might not be there. So they might actually be able to make some noise in that game. I like the over in that game. 52.5 is a play that I definitely like. I think it's going to be a shootout. But yeah, that's a dope jersey. That's my favorite running back.
He's my favorite of all time.
Yeah.
It's not even close. When you really think about Barry Sanders and you think about what he meant to the game, but then also just the things that he did at a time where, shoulder pads were this big and people could grab you, sling you to the ground. He wasn't a big guy. Barry Sanders, like 5'6", 5'7". You know what I mean? Like, as John Madden used to say, he has moves on moves. And I loved Barry Sanders.
He used to make people look foolish, bro.
Stupid. And to this day, like, think about it. There is no one, like, I think Shady McCoy was like the last one that was close.
That's a good ass comp.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was the last one that I was like, oh, like Brian Westbrook for a moment. For a slight moment.
Way more McCoy and please no more Eagle running backs from that era because
it's
kind of, well, you felt it too. It was giving it to you too.
We felt it.
Yeah.
100%. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like no one has even been in that DNA or in that ilk since he's left.
Yeah.
He was one of one. Reggie Bush had him like Reggie Bush was more Gale Sayers-esque, I think. Like, he was more downhill. He'd make a move and go. Bear would make a move, make another move, do a spin, and then get out, and then he'd be gone and be like, how in the heck did he pull 7 moves in 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and he also did it with no offensive line too, bro.
0.
It was crazy. I remember Emmitt Smith, he was talking one time about him, and he said that if he had my offensive line, he'd run for 3,000 yards. It's just crazy. He didn't even say 2,000, bro. He said 3,000 yards is what he would run behind.
We saw he ran for 2,000 with no offensive line.
I know. So crazy, man. So crazy. Dude, I'm excited. I'm excited. We made it. Once again, shout out to everyone that checked out the NFL preview show. Put up some big numbers. A lot of good feedback. Thank you to everybody that was reposting it. Also, that means a lot. That's the best way. I talk about this all the time. The best thing you guys could do for a content creator is just share their stuff. It's free. You don't got to do anything else but share it. Tag that you're listening. Tag at Veterans Minimum. Tag myself. Tag Josh. We'll repost it. It goes a long way. And also, I would love for you to promote your stuff real quick with American Fan 365.
American Fan 365. Same thing. Please like, share, subscribe, push it. Continuing to get to the next level. Nick, you took a step. I didn't realize that the page, the Veterans Minimum page, it's like tripled in numbers.
Yeah, we've had some cool guests, man. You
took a step. Good job.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. It's I'm always really transparent with everyone, and they know. You could just tell like how excited I get come football season. A lot of people do too. So the show is doing really well in the off season of NFL too. And I think I got some really cool guests on. Had Brandon Marshall on. Sean Kelly was really dope also. some of the fun segments that we came up with when I was having you and George come in and record and whatnot. So it's cool, man. It's just, twice a week for 8 years now. So it's just, and adding new things, adding new wrinkles to the show. And at the time you're listening, this is going to be the last show that's not going to be airing live starting Monday, September 11th. Every show is going to be going live on Mondays and Wednesdays, 2:30 to 4:30 Pacific time. That's 5:30 to 7:30 in the East Coast. If you're anywhere else, that's a you problem. You got to figure that one out on yourself and coordinate with the times. But youtube.com/veterans minimum, you'll be able to watch the show live. So the Monday show, you'll watch it live while we're recording, and then you'll get the audio a couple of hours later. And then same thing goes for the Wednesday shows. So just adding new shit. Because then it doesn't grow stale too. You know what I mean? Like one of the reasons why I'm experimenting with new ideas and doing the show live also is because I don't want it to get stale to me, because then it's going to get stale to the audience. So adding this new feature about going live, and I mean, you've recorded with me so many times. Like it's very rare where I do things over.
Yeah, no, you don't. You know what I mean? Like
So
I usually honestly forget. Like and to say something to the audience too, live versus recorded doesn't necessarily make it easier. It's just different. The way that you throw things out, you know what I mean? Because when it's live, there is no reset button. You can't stop. You know what I mean? So you kind of, as a creator, you just have to constantly keep that in mind. But pre-records are different too, because sometimes that crutch can be to your own detriment. And so then you get, at least for me, sometimes I'll get stuck in neutral with a thought because I know that, well, we can just clip it. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
I hear you. I want to start with some NFL, of course. We'll be previewing NFL Week 1. We got some bets on here too. We got some betting trends. But I do want to start with some betting trends. It's fascinating Week 1, right? Like
Yes.
Week 1, I think, is the only time during the season where your opinions mean the most. And what I mean by that is the last time we've seen all these teams play were 9 months ago, unless it's the Chiefs and the Eagles 8 months ago. So a lot has changed in 9 months. But if you have a strong lean on the Lions, the Packers and Steelers, you had a strong lead on your Commanders, a little crazy, but you also, how you felt. I think there's a way you could gain an edge, whether it's in fantasy football, whether it's in sports betting, whether it's in props, whatever it might be, even with your takes, to go out and say, hey, Pittsburgh, at home, like that spot. I'm buying into Jordan Love, because there's so much that has changed in 9 months.
Yeah.
Where come week 3, week 4, it's what's happening now. So week 1, you see a lot of lines are a little misleading. The wrong teams are favored because we're basing everything on what we saw 9 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that I really like looking at. And then when you look at some of these trends, right? Small underdogs in week 1 and 2 over the last 20 years that are between a 1 to 5.5 point underdog, 64% against the spread. It's like 63.8, but 64. So it's telling you that, all right, these teams that are underdogs of less than a touchdown, there's a reason why they're covering. There's a reason why they're winning these games. So again, it's something where if you have a strong stance, it could go a long way. And the way I want to introduce this one is, what is your game of the week you would love to highlight?
My game of the week is Steelers versus the Niners.
I love this.
I have to say that because, listen, we still, when we talked a little bit about this off air, the real key for me is that the Niners have been that team that's been scratching the surface right at winning a Super Bowl for roughly 5 to 6 years. Last 5 years or so, they've been really close. And the Steelers now, the Steelers under Mike Tomlin, they never have a losing season. They're always going to be a tough out. The Steelers being at home. I think that this game, both ways, if the Steelers win, What's wrong with the Niners? Niners can't even beat the Steelers, but then also what that does to elevate the Steelers in the AFC North conversation, which is probably going to be the most competitive division in the league outside of, the NFC North. But on the flip side of that, if the Niners win, maybe they don't do it so convincingly. Maybe the Steelers hang around a lot more than they should, or at least people perceive they should. Again, what's wrong with the Niners? Should the Niners have done more with the quarterback situation? Should they have gone and gotten Aaron Rodgers because that was out there and on the table and they didn't do it? I'm really interested to see because that game has a lot of storylines that don't necessarily pertain to the players on the field.
Yes and no, because I don't agree with how you feel about Pittsburgh, which goes back to what I was talking about before, where
Why? Oh, well, obviously
because I'm high on Pittsburgh. I'm a believer of Pittsburgh, right? So I have them winning the division. So them coming out and winning
is nothing outside of what
it's
you
like,
already
yeah,
expect.
this is what I think that they would do, right? And what's fascinating about this division with the AFC North, even though these two teams are not in the same division, between the Bengals, Ravens, Browns, and Steelers, the AFC North win totals add up to 40. So the win total for the Bengals is 11.5. The Steelers is 8.5. The Browns is 9.5, and then the Ravens is 10.5. When you add that up, that comes out to 40, which would make it the best on-paper division entering a season from a win total perspective in 21 years.
Wow.
So they're expecting this to be
a slugfest.
A fucking bar fight.
Yeah.
Right? So you're right in the sense of this is going to be a big one because it is a home game also for Pittsburgh. Yeah. It's the first home game that they're having for week one since 2014. They played 8 straight week one games on the road.
I did not realize that.
Here's the thing about Pittsburgh. I absolutely love the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. They're my favorite underdog. Spoiler, they're a contest pick. Dude, they were a contest pick, bro, in like May when they put out the line.
Yeah.
At +3. Now it's +2.5. But at +3, I was like, oh, bro, I'm definitely taking Pittsburgh. Again, you bet numbers, not teams. Pittsburgh as a home dog under Mike Tomlin is basically free money. He's the most profitable head coach in NFL history as an underdog at home. 53, 30, and 4. And the craziest thing, TJ Watt is healthy.
Yes, he is.
During the offseason, I said TJ Watt is the only defensive player in the league that if he got ruled out, I would move the point spread for. Yes, and I got some people being like, yo, it's not a quarterback, yada, yada, all this stuff. Last year, TJ Watt in the lineup with the Steelers, 8-2. Without him, terrible.
Well, like, what was that? One something and one?
They won 9 games last year. Yeah. So it's like, like 9 and 7, 1 and 7.
Well, and remember they went
and they tied.
The tie.
Yeah. So like 1-7-1, 1-6-1.
Yeah.
And then it's big, man, having TJ Watt. Because, dude, I feel as if another thing I've talked about in the past for years now, once I finally understood football, was the strongest take that I had. It's like you find a quarterback, you protect them, and you go after theirs. So the way I would also pay out my team would be I pay my quarterback big money. I would pay my offensive lineman, especially the left tackle, big money. And then I would pay a defensive end. We saw Nick Bosa right before we started recording. He got the bag. 5 years, $170 million. He's another dude who we haven't really seen him out the lineup. I mean, I know he blew out his knee, but he was still like, we're talking about this.
He was hurt last year.
Yeah, but he didn't.
He hasn't been gone from the lineup. He'll be like, he might miss a game or two.
Yeah, I'm talking about like if you're missing, we need more than a 1 or 2 game sample size for me to be able to say that, oh, this guy not being in the lineup really matters. You know what I mean?
I understand.
There's been times where a guy's out the lineup and the team just rallies behind him.
Yeah.
You know, a new quarterback comes in. And then now all of a sudden are you looking at it like, oh, this guy's better than this guy. No, that's not really the case. They got behind him. You don't know what the storyline was. But if he misses a whole year, then you could say and properly evaluate, yo, this guy is out. This is what he means for the team when he's in, when he's out, what are their splits? And that's why TJ Watt, I think, is the only non-quarterback in the league Sorry, the only defensive player I think that is worth a full point against the point spread.
It's not a bad take.
What do you think about Nick Bosa getting in the bag?
It hurts me because I got to play Chase Young and Montez Sweat this year.
Bro, you don't got to worry about paying Chase Young. Dude, you can't.
Well, here. The reason.
Are you trying to build out your brand as like the hot take guy?
No, not at all.
Because, bro, between Washington,
not at all.
division stuff, and like Chase Young,
Okay.
Chase Young, most misleading rookie year ever. Hasn't been good since his rookie year.
Let's put a caveat on that because I hate when people do that. He did not have a good start to the year, his second year.
Yeah, and then
he
got
blows
hurt.
out his knee.
Okay.
And then he can't, but he like really blows it out. And then again, like we talk about Adrian Peterson ruining everyone that ever tears an ACL moving forward.
Yeah.
He doesn't come back until like the last 3 games of the season and wasn't 100%. He didn't really have a second year. So now this is his third. You know what I mean? Like, well, wait.
I think he's
No,
been
this
in the
is
league
fourth.
longer.
This is fourth. Because he lost his second. He made a little bit of his third. But I mean, look. If Chase Young comes out there and actually looks like Chase Young, I don't think obviously that he ascends to that money because Nick Bosa has done it now multiple years. But Montez Sweat, who has played pretty well, he's not going to get that money, but he is going to get his money. And then, you know what I mean? Like I said, if Chase Young has a good year, we've proven that we'll pay. We just paid Deron Payne. We paid Jonathan Allen the year before that. You know what I mean? Like it's money. I know it's funny money, but you don't want to have to keep paying everybody.
Yeah, but I still don't think that, bro, you're talking about the defensive player of the year. So I know the new guy sets the market, but there is levels to it too. Like Daniel Jones, when he got paid, he didn't ask to be like Pat Mahomes just because you're the next guy up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're coming off your best year ever. That's not going to spearhead you to make $50 million a year. So I don't think
making 40 plus.
But Joe Burrow just signed and he's the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, it was Justin Herbert. A month ago, it was Lamar Jackson. 6 weeks ago,
it was Russell Wilson.
It was Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Like if we're looking at this offseason. Yeah. So it's just a new guy that comes up, but I don't think you need to worry about that. But
well, it's the 2. That's the thing. I got to pay 2.
The combination of both.
You got to pay 2. It's a little bit different.
I would say you let Chase walk.
No, I'm not ready. I'm not. He's from Maryland. He's a Maryland boy. He grew up right down the street.
Hey man, if it doesn't work, I say you cut ties.
Yeah,
you just move on. That's what the good teams do, like San Francisco. They got rid of Trey Lance.
Trying to slide him over to the Giants. I know what you're doing.
Nah. Giants are good on DN, bro. I'm good.
Yeah.
Ojolari.
Aziz. Yeah. Aziz is solid.
Thibodeau, year 2.
Yeah. Thibodeau looked good.
Thibodeau looked and then like after week 11.
On very strong at the end of the season.
Yes.
He definitely did.
How do you feel about this game? Has all the makings of whatever the outcome is Monday morning. The overreactions to this, might be number 1 in the league. Because think about it, right? Say San Fran loses.
Yes.
Fuck Brock Purdy. They got rid of the wrong guys, right? Because they lost Jimmy G and Trey Lance. This dude was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. All this hype, like McCaffrey ain't shit. Like you already could see that. And on the flip side, if Pittsburgh loses, man, Kenny Pickett ain't nothing. Like why you guys
can't pick it.
Why are you guys getting excited over a couple throws in the preseason? Like Pittsburgh ain't nothing. This could be the year that Tomlin goes under. This would be the weird, So the storylines in this game, bro, come Monday, one way or another are going to be out of control.
No, that's fair.
But dude, I really like this spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh has won 3 straight week 1 matchups under Mike Tomlin. And bro, back-to-back years, the Steelers, I bet them in week 1.
Okay.
The year they went into Buffalo as a 6.5, it was the last Big Ben year.
Yeah.
And again, this is what I was talking about before. All right, let me get locked in right here. Okay. This is what I was talking about before. The narratives and the conversations coming into week 1. If you have a strong stance, you could gain a massive advantage over the sports books. Let's go back to 2021.
Yeah.
It's the last Big Ben year. Big Ben should have retired. He ain't shit. yada, yada. They go into Buffalo, who's the Super Bowl favorite,
That's right.
and they beat the Bills outright.
Beat the brakes off them, too, if I remember right.
What happened last year? Cincinnati. Oh, shit. They overachieved last year. This is the year now. This is the real Bengals year.
Yeah.
Right? They just went to the Super
Just
Bowl.
went to the Super Bowl.
TJ Watt made the $140 million worth it just in that game, bro. He sacked Burrow like 5 times, I think it was.
It was like 3 or 4. I know that.
And then like 27,000 QB hits he had on him. It was something ridiculous, right? And then they beat the Bengals on the road.
Yeah.
And now this year they're at home. And they're playing another team that has a lot of hype behind them, and rightfully so. Definitive top 2 team in the NFC, and in the NFL, they're a top 5 team. The last 9 of the last 10 Super Bowl winners have been a top 5 favorite, so the Niners fit that mold. And the Niners, under Kyle Shanahan, since he became the head coach, as a road favorite, 10-11 against the spread. And they're a road favorite.
Yeah.
And, throughout the year, you'll probably hear me say, oh, it is a bad spot for a team because they're going West Coast to East Coast. They're staying on the East Coast. They're going back and forth. You don't got to worry about it week 1 because this is probably the best time if you're San Francisco to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because you're not coming.
East Coast and it's cold.
Yeah, you've been in the West Coast. So, like, all right, we're just going to you're not coming back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that's fair.
This is to me the most compelling game in week 1. That's why I'm glad that you mentioned it as the game of the week.
I mean, it's definitely, it has a lot of, like we said, it has a lot of storylines just in terms of what it could mean for both teams. Both teams depart this game with a narrative associated with them for at least another 2 or 3 weeks after this game. So, I mean, we talk about with football being, everything is any given Sunday and it's week to week, but narratives get spun. And then you have to either counteract that narrative or you are that narrative. So,
isn't that such a good word?
What?
Don't you feel like when people drop narrative in like the sports space, it immediately like perks your ear up?
Well, it's true though, because
right?
I mean, well, look, listen, people will say things like Chase Young.
Right.
Oh, Chase Young's this, he's that, he's whatever. And it's like, listen, the biggest thing I can always tell people, because I'll be the first person to say somebody's trash if they're playing like trash. But at the same time, I have to also still remember that there is a family on the other outside of that jersey, and there's people, and that person's going through a human experience. You know what I mean? And it's like, and people are trying to figure it out. Dude is only 23, 22. He's still trying to figure it out. So I'm willing to give the brother a chance.
Who do you got in this game?
Only because I always I've always been a Steelers supporter because of Big Ben. I loved Big Ben. And I used to always enjoy the Niners until I moved out here and had to really get to know Niner fans. It was like, man, screw the Niners. So Steel City all day.
Yeah.
We're going
Nice.
Steel City.
Yeah, I'm on Pittsburgh, man. Like I said, plus 2.5. I just made a bet right now as we were talking.
Okay.
Shout out to Wager Attack. They are the official sponsor of Veterans Minimum for the football season. Wager Attack is rocking with us throughout the NFL and is the official odds provider for Veterans Minimum. Anytime you hear anything betting, any odds, that it's provided by Wager Attack. And I took them on the money line plus 115, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I took them with the points plus 2.5. I like the 2.5 number here. Some places it's at 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're going to be a contest pick also. So if you guys are ready to take your sports betting game to the next level, look no further than Wager Attack, the ultimate online sports book for true sports enthusiasts. Join today using the code VM and get bonuses and free play rollovers.
All right.
What's better than that? Promo code
Free
VM.
money. All right.
Tag us if you guys use that promo code, man. Maybe we do a little giveaway. What do you think about that? You like that idea?
There you go.
Even though it's going to be me doing the giveaway, I figure I ask you.
Listen. Especially when it comes to merch and things, I keep telling you, I gotta get my merch game back up. So the second I have a laptop and some thoughts to myself, I think I'll be all right.
The game I want to talk about, two of the most, I don't know if polarizing is the right term, but two teams that made massive headlines this offseason, whether it's justified or not, I think it's a wait and see. What was that about?
Chris Jones reposted my my story on him.
Let's go.
Yeah, I was like, Stone Cold Jones. Wait a minute, that's Chris Jones. Oh, okay.
Nice. What'd you post?
I just posted that he was saying that everybody's opinions are like buttholes. They all stink. Thank you, Chris Jones. I appreciate
Shout out to
you.
Chris Jones, man.
Appreciate
Stone Cold Chris Jones, huh?
Stone Cold Jones is his
I love
Instagram name.
I mean, dude, you already know when I hear Stone Cold, I get a little stimulated.
That was the reason why I was like, Stone. Oh.
That right away.
Yeah.
Who's the one person you would want to meet in your life?
Oh. I'm weird because I've met everybody. Malcolm X.
But that's like not possible.
All right. Well, if you're gonna say
talking
like,
about, like,
on the earth,
Bro, I'm talking about like
Jesus.
I'm
Obviously, if
not
we're gonna
talking
start
about all
going there
time, dude. I'm
Okay,
talking
all
about like
time.
right now,
All right.
like
today,
Like, who would you pay? All right, here's a hypothetical. There's a meet and greet in this lovely city,
okay.
and it's the who's who. Who would be the one person you would go and drop, I don't know, $500 to go and meet them if you had to?
Probably Warren Buffett. I've met every athlete I wanted to meet. Literally everyone.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I ain't trying to meet no actors. And at this point in my life, I would love to meet somebody that's going to elevate me to another level. And if it would be like on some Warren Buffett, and then now I'm friends with Warren Buffett, stop. We good. That $500 was money well spent. That was not just dinner.
Yeah. I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
for me, it's Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Oh, yeah, dude.
See,
like,
I've met Stone Cold.
I'm jealous,
He's really
bro.
cool. He's really cool.
I got a friend of mine that worked at WWE and like behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know how they're like, yo, don't meet your heroes? I was just like, yo, bro, because he told me he met Stone Cold. I was like, yo, can you just tell me if he was cool? He was like, yo, mad cool, bro.
No, he's cool.
He's like, yo,
The
man,
Rock, The Rock is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine met The Rock.
He's
He said he was good people.
he is so funny, like in person.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, I see why this worked for
One of
you.
my boys shot a video with him.
Yeah, he's great. Both of them. But like honestly, most wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because wrestlers really are just normal guys. They just happen to have, wild stories. I gotta meet Ric Flair. That is somebody I have to meet.
Woo!
Hulk Hogan was all right. And that was upsetting because I am a Hulkamaniac.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. We can't do the Hulk Hogan stuff. We got super sidetracked because you said Stone Cold, and then immediately I just lost control because that's the only person I would want to meet. I would probably cry, bro.
Shut up. Pull it together.
I would cry if I met Stone Cold Steve. 100%. I'd be
Like,
shaking and shit.
Is that like okay? Like, no, you gotta
Bro,
be better.
that's my goat,
Bro, Jordan was my GOAT. And when I met him, now granted, the first time I met him, I was 12. And it was a good time.
bro.
I told him I waited my whole life to meet him, and he
Yeah.
rubbed my bald head, and it was a great day had by all. And then he said some things after the game where I was like, okay, all right. Don't meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes.
But I mean, got to hang out with him a couple of times after that. We good. He's a good guy.
Yes.
Kobe and him are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Literally.
The game that I was talking about with the two teams that are the most sort of polarizing is Green Bay and Chicago.
1000%.
In division, one of many division games to kick off week one. This one is fascinating because, dude, it would be hilarious if the Bears lose this game. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Rodgers, all these years, I own you.
Yeah.
I own you, right?
Maybe it's just the Packers.
Maybe it's just the Packers, bro. Because if Jordan Love goes into Chicago, where Chicago's riding high, Chicago is a lot of Chicago. I got some friends that are Chicago fans. They're feeling themselves. Yo, Justin Fields, MVP, DJ Moore, which I love DJ Moore, Edmonds and Edwards on defense.
Mooney.
They got, they got some pieces. They got some guys that can make some noise. I'm not a fan of Eberflus. That kind of scares me a little bit. But then again, I like Dennis Allen. I like the Saints, but they have Dennis Allen also. So it's like, you gotta play it.
You gotta give and take.
Yeah, but you got to pick a side and stay on it. You can't just like, oh, it works well for this team, but it doesn't for this team because I don't like their coach.
That's right.
So there's that dynamic, but it'd be hilarious if Green Bay goes into Chicago. Chicago's feeling themselves, the home opener, and they lose again to the Packers.
This is my one game, I would say, of all the games this weekend where I would say do not bet at all.
Oh, no. This is why you come here to listen to the betting.
You would like to bet this game knowing nothing. Like, because, well, I say knowing nothing from the standpoint of we don't know what either of these teams really look like.
Yes. Which is why how I started this conversation with the NFL is so important. And I keep drilling this every year. I have the same kind of conversation. You can gain an advantage because we could look back at this and be like, bro, how was Green Bay a pick-em in Chicago when Green Bay is like 10-2?
Yeah. Yeah. Or whatever.
Whatever it might be.
They end up in, yeah.
Or any team you're looking at. Because there's always that WTF game.
Sure.
You're like, how did that happen? So
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about, where I like Green Bay in this spot. I like Green Bay a lot because there is the uncertainty of Jordan Love.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like not a lot of people have hit this game yet. And also why probably you were talking about what you were talking about. So I think Green Bay matches up with them really well. And look, it's in division, right? You're going to match up with them really well. And Justin Fields, I just think that I want to see him in a live game.
Do it.
Yeah, like he had a couple moments with DJ Moore in the preseason, but now it's Jair Alexander's on the opposite side. And you got this front seven for Green Bay that I think is going to make noise this year. And in the trenches, I think Green Bay has a top 5. If you took the offense and defensive line of every team in the NFL and you were to rank them, I think Green Bay is in the top 5 of the combination of both.
Okay, both lines.
Yeah.
Both lines. Okay.
You take both. Like, I don't know, maybe their defensive line is 12th, but I think their offensive line is 6th. So like the combination, however we would have to measure that, but just in my mind when I think of it, I think that's why I also like them in the NFC because I feel like you got to be able to beat San Fran, Dallas, and the Eagles. And also what I know I was shitting on you before about Washington, but Washington does have a recipe with an above average offensive line and the front, the defensive line being so dominant that, they'll steal some games.
Yeah.
Like Jeremiah in the studio, bro. Remember we were telling you how we hate betting against your team. And you're like, really? We're like, yeah, they're just.
I know how to bet against my team. Like, nope, put my money away.
Yeah.
Certain games, but I guess my only retort, because that's interesting because you feel when you have a feeling that you hammer your feeling.
Yeah.
I guess for me, if my feeling is not comfortable because I don't know enough in terms of what these teams are, those are the games I stay away from as a bettor just because I don't know. And if I don't know or I don't feel confident, that's when I'll bet something else. But that's interesting. You're better than me.
Who do you got in this game?
That's what I have no idea.
Well, you got to pick one.
If I have to pick one,
it's a 1-point spread. So basically, whoever you think is going to win.
You're not wrong either way. To your point, I think, look, we said this on my show, George and I, the other day on Monday, that, these games, it's almost worth a game and a half because it's you're starting with a game in division. You win that game, you've already won basically a game and a half because you've already now 1-0 in division as well. I think if the Bears are going to do anything this year, they have to win this game. So I'll take the Bears just because if they don't, they're in more trouble, I'd say, than the Packers are. The Packers are now they're flying high a little bit after one game, whereas the Bears could really be down in the doldrums if they lose.
Doldrums is a good word. I like that one.
I hate you.
That was really good. Dude, I'm excited for this weekend, man. We got to wrap up. We've been going for a while. Shout out to you coming on the show. People will be hearing you more and more often throughout the football season.
I have a different jersey every time.
I love it, man.
I got a couple football.
So far, you haven't repeated. I've been keeping track.
No, I don't repeat.
Yeah, I've been keeping track.
Now, it might get a repeat on my show because I'm like, that jersey's not dirty yet.
You did that. You did that with Portis, bro. I saw that.
No, I came straight from mine to you.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. When I saw it, because those clips came out similar time, I was like, wow, the same. Oh, it was the same day. I was like, that was a Monday. That was what messed me up too.
Shout out to our sponsors, Wager Attack, Fly Me Out and Blue Chew, and as well to all the members of the Patreon. Patreon.com/veterans minimum. There'll be betting exclusive shows throughout the NFL season on the Patreon. And also, Kenny and I are going to be giving out our 5 plays that we're putting in the Circa Millions contest. Him and I are splitting an entry. So you'll be able to hear that up on the Patreon. We'll dissect and pick the games that we're going to go with and the thought process behind it. So at Nick Dais 10 is where you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum is at Veterans Minimum. And we'll catch you guys next time on VM.